welcome to the Season 4 Roundup for Guernsey FC with me, Andy. And as you can see on the screen, we weren't relegated. We didn't look like getting relegated, to be fair, from about, sort of April onwards, really. It was always 6 or 7 points clear of the bottom three. It wasn't pretty, but we did get more than a point per game, which is always a good thing. As you can see, South Shields went up. I think that was the last game we saw was the 1-0 loss. It wasn't too bad, but as you can see, 93 points, 12 points clear of Staines, and absolutely bossed the league. Kings Langley, Gosport, Met Police all going down. 40 points to stay up. Well, 38 points would have had you stay up. If we look at our schedule, as Pontefract Collieries was the last. South Shields was the one before that, I think. But it was a 1-1 draw, and we was on the way to some decent games and decent performances. But then changed it to the Gegenpress, and we did really quite nicely for 2 months. And this is the little period that actually kept us up. So that 4-0 win against Hendon, we absolutely massacred them. I mean, it was 3 goals in the last sort of 4 minutes, but even before that, if we look at the stats on the game, 21 shots to their 4, and we absolutely bossed it. And it was the Gegenpress really pushing high, pushing hard, and just continually battering them, and it played so well for quite a good while there. We had a 1-1 against Staines, which was a really good result. They came back to it. We were 1-0 up, and they came back. A 3-1 loss against MacLeod, and that wasn't particularly pretty. Then, for the next 5 games, really clicked. And Knaresborough 3-0 was a demolition job. If we have a quick look at the stats on that one, 9 shots, but 54% possession, and they didn't look like they were going to get in the game at all. It keeps going back up to the top, that's what's doing me. A 4-2 win against Met Police. So Charlton, this was 3-0 at half time. It was 4-0 and they came back to 4-2. A 4-2 against Farnborough, and the Farnborough, decent side. They went 1-0. They scored an own goal, went 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then we went 1 at 4-2 right near the end with Max Tail boys. 1-1 against Met Police, playing them very close together in the league, and then we had a little friendly. But then after that, just fell off the cliff again. No changes, nobody coming out, playing the same formation, and played it right the way through, because I was determined to see if it was just form, or you can play a formation for 5 or 6 games and then it just falls off. And it fell off. And as you can see, in that meantime, this 4-4 was a crazy game. We were, 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, 3-1, 4-1 up. No, sorry, 4-2 up. And then they came back near the end. We just couldn't hold on. But if you look from end of March onwards, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 points out of the 12 games there, which is atrocious. The last game, I just went to a sort of a direct counter-attack 4-4-2, and it was a dire game. Really, really rubbish. But just have a quick look at the stats on that one. And they had 17. They were pretty much relegated already anyway. And we couldn't really do anything against a team that were going to be relegated. So when we actually look at our squad, and our best player by what the game says is Andrew Byrne. And if you look at Andrew Byrne and go to the coach report, he's currently operating on a EvoStick Southern Premier South level. So our 4-star players are at a level for the league, and we've got one of them, which I think shows what our problems are very succinctly. We've just not got the players. If we have a quick look at the team report, as you can see, there are a few strengths, but there are so many weaknesses. It's unbelievable. If we look at our league position won't come up there. I'll look at that in a little bit. We have a quick look at the club as such. Top goal scorer getting 11 goals isn't good enough. He wants a ton of money to stay, and I'm not going to pay it, so I'm just going to let his contract run out. And if he wants to stay as a non-contractee, he can stay as a non-contractee. I'm not playing that game. Sean Stewart, Josh Wakefield, Andrew Byrne, Mark Watts. I want them all to stay because I think that they do lend something to the club. But yeah, it's a difficult one. If we look at the general, so we've got these favoured personnel. I'm going to let Joe Charles go because he's now 1.5 stars. He's 23, but he's just dropping off a cliff. But yeah, Nathan, Marcus, and Ruben Nathan and Marcus definitely want to keep. Ruben, well, sorry, but he's gonna have to play non-contract if he wants to have 250 quid a week. As simple as that. Not playing that game whatsoever. Notice I'm still not favoured personnel after 4 seasons. It makes you feel really loved, doesn't it? Our facilities are not changing, obviously. We've still got 5,000 capacity club. I think what we will quickly look at now are the competitions, I think, and start the Premier League and work down. So yes, Man United look like they're coming good again in season 21-22. So they won by 10 points. It's the usual top 6 still. Southampton getting in there, and Blackburn, Newcastle, and Fulham down. Sky Bet Championship are in playoff final mode with Middlesbrough versus Leeds. But if we have a look at the league, Stoke and Portsmouth are up. Middlesbrough Leeds will be a good game. Barnsley, Portsmouth and Coventry all on the way down. Colchester won a playoff for League One to get into the Championship for the first time in their history. Burton and Burton, that's a decent one for them. But Nottingham Forest up as well. Blackpool down to League 2. Port Vale, Rochdale and Walsall. League 2, Notts County going up over Oldham and penalties. We have a quick look at the league. Shrewsbury, Barnet and Bury. So yeah, I think Shrewsbury have been knocking on the door down at that level for a while. With Cheltenham and Carlisle dropping out of the league. Vanarama, Bromley ended up going up on the playoffs, with Boreham Wood winning the league, so that's really interesting. Brackley, who I've seen do really well in other saves, are dropping down with David Blythe, Spartans and Bath. We have a look at National League North. FC United, we played them in the Cup earlier in the season, lost 3-2 to them. They've gone and beaten Chorley 2-0 on a local derby there. So if we have a look at the league table, Boston United going up, who DrBenjyFM managing at the moment, so they look useful. With Cambridge City, Grantham and Leek going down. Leek, who were in the playoffs the first year when we went up to this level 7. We have a quick look at the National League South, which might affect us next year. Dartford going up, beat Dulwich Hamlet. We've got the league table with Yeovil. So Yeovil are starting to pick up a little bit again. Truro on their way back down again after going up last season. Chippenham and Chelmsford on their way down. It's a perennial National League South team. And then just into our level. So Bishop Stortford on the way out and up. Mersham, interestingly, from earlier on in the save, played in our division and went up. They've been sort of bouncing around, but they've got the possibility of getting up and into the Vanarama south, hopefully for them. With Marlow, Lewis and Leighton on the way down. And Leighton got in there in the first place, to be fair. If we have a look at the next one, Essex Northern, Nuneaton Borough, who last season were Lollujo Kev's sort of non-league to legend team. They're on their way up into tier 6 with playoffs here. Buxton, Workington is an interesting one because they're geographically separated by quite a lot of distance for all the travel they do. Bradford PA and Colwyn Bay, who in real life are actually going to go back into the Welsh football pyramid. Frickley, Nantwich and Hyde on the way down to tier 8. Everstick, Southern Previa. Hensford going up. So Dorking and Dunstable in the playoffs. It looks like St Neots and Kings Lynn. Oh no, they haven't. Well, Kings Lynn have still got a game, and they're going to be against Halesowen. So I think that's set anyway. I don't see why that doesn't have. No, Halesowen. Sorry, what I'm talking about. Halesowen 71. So that is a massive game. They can actually, Halesowen win, and they're in the playoffs. But Bedford, Ossett and Congleton, I've seen a couple of saves, people doing Ossett, and they're on their way down with Congleton. Our little league, South Shields on the way up. Staines, Scarborough, Oswestry Town and Gloucester all playing off, with Kings Langley, Gosport and Met Police on the way down. And then you've got playoffs in Tier 8 to come up to Tier 7. So yeah, hashtag are actually in the playoffs to come up to our level. So that's interesting. That would be a back-to-back, I think. Or would it? I don't know. They might have had one season off. No, I think it will be back-to-back, 10, 9, 8, 7. But yeah, Taunton as well. We've nicked a few players from in the past in a playoff to come up. If we just have a quick look at the league table just to see who did come up. Rugby are on their way up. Oh, just kick the bucket. South Waltham Abbey on the way down from the South Central. So we'd never played in that league. We played South East before. So South East, we have a look. Phoenix Sports. They always used to max out their capacity 1,000 stadium in the first season we were playing against them. So Tunbridge Hive, Hastings and hashtag. Hashtag didn't get it all their own way. They didn't lose 10. They were, a country mile away from 6th though. Those top 5 teams: Abbey, Rangers and Herne Bay on the way down. Bostic North, Northwood on the way up. Hitcham, Chesham. Well, Chesham went down last season. They're coming back, possibly coming back on the way up. Aylesbury and Grays with Bracknell and Basildon on the way back down again. Basildon do perennially go up and down. Northern Premier, Div 1 East, Billingham on their way up. Mars, Cleethorpes, Belper and AFC Mansfield, who dropped down last season with the possibility of going up through the playoffs. With Quorn and Plymouth Parkway on the way down. Plymouth Parkway often do quite well. Quorn nearly always used to win NFA Vars in saves in 2018. So Evo-Stick West, Stalybridge on their way up to Tier 7. With Kidsgrove, Worcester, Chasetown and Whitney Albion all got the possibilities of playoffs. Runcorn, Lennox and Handsworth Paramore on the way down. And Southern League Div 1 Central, Wroxham on their way up from Norfolk. Hayes and Yedding, Faversham, Biggleswade and Brentwood all got a chance. Beaconsfield and Bridgewater on the way down. Div 1 South. Oh, wrong button. Div 1 South. Oxford City Nomads, who I've been getting loads of scouting reports from. So they've obviously had some money put in recently, but they're on their way up. Bishops Cleeve, Walton Casuals, Taunton and Totton all got possibilities, and Cinderford and Shortwood on the way down. That gets us to Tier 9, so I'm not particularly worried about Tier 9. If we have a look at UEFA, Liverpool won the Champions League, beat Barcelona in the final. Firmino and Naby Keita. So this is 4 or 5 years in the future. Still a decent whack of normal players in there. Thomas Lamar's come in and taken is Sadio Mane's usual place. Sadio Mane's now 30 in the game, I think. Amadou Diawara's come in, and who would he have taken? Maybe taken Henderson's place.Maybe Gigi Wijnaldum. Kieran Tierney's now come through, and he's gone in place of Andrew Robertson, who is now playing for Paris Saint-Germain. And Barcelona, some names you recognise still. Messi's still going strong. Was he 34 in the game? Yeah, 34 in the game now. 76 goals and 159 for Argentina. Still valued at 31 million, but he's on £1 million per week. But yeah, still pretty useful. If we go back to have a look at the Europa League. So it's because I've got a controller connected. Europa League, FC Porto beat Mönchengladbach. Now in the semi-final there were 3 German teams, so for the Portuguese team to come and win it, that's a hell of a hat-trick for the final for Fabio Silva, 19 years of age. So let's have a look. He's been obviously Porto, first year Porto in the game, 2017-18. So one to look at, Fabio Silva. And there's been a few other bits and pieces. I do just go through sort of Oceania, Champions League, normal all New Zealand final. I look at the semi-final, so Maris 5 from Solomons and Gaitcha from, was that New Caledonia? Yeah. So, yeah, the usual suspects, Asian, Champions League. So this is second round at the moment, so let's go back to the 2021 finish and have a look at the final. And Jiangsu Suning from China, 6-2 on aggregate against Alain of United Arab Emirates. Have a look at African Cup of Nations, don't want Cup of Nations, African Champions League. That's, this season, so Zamalek beating Wydad Casablanca 3-2. North American, pick that one out, North American Champions League. So Atlanta beat Club America of Mexico 3-1 on aggregate. Copa Libertadores and the Copa, that is current season, so 2021 finish was a River Plate beat Independiente, so an all Argentinian final. Who's in the semis? Oh, so Boca got to the semis. It's one of the Brazilian teams, so I should know who they are, but I thought I actually had their the fix for all the names in, but obviously not. That's Corinthians, isn't it? It's got to be Corinthians, yeah. That's interesting. Boca Corinthians, so 3 Argentinians and a Brazilian. Corinthians side looks useful. They're playing some decent wages as well. Angel Romero from Paraguay. Is he 29 now? Yeah, Fulham 2018-19 loan. Yep. And obviously World Cup 2022 is going to be starting in game this November. And here are the groups. I don't think there's any teams in here that stand out as not belonging. Nice to see Mali there. Obviously Qatar are going to be in there regardless. China. These all look like decent groups, really. That's a hell of a group for Scotland. Well, that's actually a team that does stand out as not usually getting there. Scotland. So Brazil, Scotland, South Korea and Spain. Proper group, that. Germany group, Portugal, Senegal and Paraguay, nasty one. We've got Costa Rica again, but England and France in the same group, poor Iranians, not going to be good for them. And Belgium, Ghana, Japan and Poland in that last group, so that's not bad. So yeah, that's that for sort of world football and whatnot. Now, I'm in the position where I need to do my deep dive. And what I've done for that is I've actually put it all into a nice little squad view that I've made. So all the information I'm going to need for that, if I look at this squad view here, which is squad season stats, and it's got everything like your contract when it expires, all the wage types, so how much money's going out, so I can make judgment calls on wages and whatnot, current ability, current potential, and then from there all the information you need to just have a look for stats. So your passing, your red and yellow cards, your chances, your crosses, your dribbling, your offsides and headers, all the key stuff you require, your shots, your goals, tackling, interceptions, all that good stuff. And what I've done is I put that into a little spreadsheet, and we're going to have a quick look at that now. So yeah, as you can see on the screen, I've got some players up, and I've actually got it filtered at the moment to whether I'm going to extend their contract, whether I'm going to try and give them a non-contract, or I've already got one, or whether I'm actually going to try and give them a non-contract at the end of the contract period, which is I think 30th of June pretty much, or 29th of June, and whether they're all okay anyway because they're 2022 contract expiry. So here are all the players we have. This is basically the web page extract from that view, the squad view we were just looking at, and I've put in some sort of position groups for the ones that I'm interested in here, so we can actually do a little bit of a view of all the figures they've got through the season. So I'm just going to quickly just make a little space here so we don't get any sort of groupings that we don't need to see. I'm just going to show the commands quickly. I'm going to take the filter off and put it back on again. So what we now can have a quick look at are the stats per area, and I'm just going to hide these ones here because we don't really need to look at these. These are guys that are either non-contract but didn't play enough here. For instance, these ones here didn't play enough for us to even contemplate doing any sort of analysis on, or we want to keep because this in this instance, Russell Sullivan, 18-year-old, has been scoring quite freely in the under 18s. He looks quite useful, so he might be one that comes up, and we keep him, I think. But everybody else here, don't need to worry about. I'm just going to hide it. So on here, I'll hide that right as well, so don't need that. Here are our 3 goalkeepers that actually got any game time this year. And Stuart Collins and Daniel McNally didn't actually get game time for me. They got game time in their loan placements. But Tommy Scott is the keeper. He's on 133 quid a week, pretty much. And that's a little sum I've done with regards to the wage, the appearance fee. So I've taken the number of appearances, multiplied it by that, and then divided by the number of weeks, pretty much. Nice and simple. Any goal bonuses they've got, which can then be obviously divided by game. So there's 49 games last season. Clean sheet bonus, exactly the same. There were 8 clean sheets, so 8 times whatever these people got divided by the 49 games, pretty much. And unused sub fee I can't do anything with because I can't find any stats in the game that tells you where the sub has been unused, and it's easy to get at, so I'm not going to bother with that. But that gives you sort of a cost per week, not including unused sub fees. So Tommy Scott's on about 130 quid a week at the moment. He's a 3-star ability for a 5-star potential kind of guy. I'm just going to quickly unfreeze the panes, and then I'm going to freeze them again, but just here, I think. Yeah, that would, no, I'm going to freeze it there. So if we go file, freeze panes, and start looking across. So average ratings. The fact that Tommy got a 6.95 in a team that finished, 5th bottom. He's a good goalkeeper. He's pretty solid. 49 appearances. I don't know why that's saying that. These should be noughts. So that takes him down to 113 quid a week. Actually, that was wrong. That's a little bit better. So total appearances 49. So he's done 4,440 minutes. All the games. Not a single card, so he's been very good in that respect. 72%-ish passing for a goalkeeper is really good. Most of the season he was playing as just a goalkeeper defender and just really giving balls out to centre backs and left back and right back, so that's not too bad. Later on in the season there were some long balls when we were playing the gegenpress. So he has 32.4 passes per game attempted, and 23 of those were completed. 4 key passes are quite interesting, so they would have most probably led to goals, I should imagine. He's actually created 2 chances as well, so that's not bad for a keeper. But yeah, nothing much here else to look at. Made 5 mistakes out of 49 games, so if he's making a mistake every 8 games, only one of them led to a goal. You cannot grumble with that whatsoever. And yeah, what's that? That's fouls against. So he was fouled. He actually no fouls, which is good really, because these ones here make me worry. How they were playing as goalkeepers and had 13 fouls, or gave away 13 fouls or 17 fouls, makes me worry. As a goalkeeper doing 225 kilometres or 4.6 kilometres per 90 minutes is a lot. I mean, I used to play in goal and I can't envisage doing that much. Maybe a couple of kilometres like these guys, but yeah, he later on in the season was playing the sweeper keeper attack, so he was doing a bit more. 122 saves held, 67 parried, I think that is, and 33. I don't know what SVT is, but I have to find that one out. And 8 clean sheets, which 8 out of 49 doesn't sound too good. But yeah, that comes to our team layout, I think. and the ability to actually maintain any kind of form whatsoever. So let's have a look at our centre backs. So there's 5 of these. Actually, yeah. So I'll quickly go back to the goalkeepers because I've got here whether I want to extend or want to get my non-contracts. Now, as Tommy is 22, I can't see Stuart or Daniel doing anything for us, and we have our 6'5" giant 18-year-old Justin Hone, who's our sub-keeper. So I'm quite happy to just say, look, you can either stay here non-contract, which effectively is for nothing because they will never get in the squad, or you just go because what are they, 1.5 3 to 4 star potential, 2 5 star potential. They're not going to ever get to their potential, unfortunately, in a club like Guernsey because we have not got the abilities to train people at that level with the training site or just the coaches to be able to do that. So yeah, so only Tommy Scott I'm interested in keeping in that respect. Quick look at centre backs. So here there's only 2 I'm interested in really keeping. Andrew Byrne we don't worry about because he's staying. He's already signed a new contract and he's here 2023, so I'm cool with that. But Tommy Bruce and Jake Hills. Now Tom Bruce, to me, seemed like he was making mistakes all the time. But it's interesting, we'll have a look at it in a second. Again, young, 21, 20 and 23. These are the positions they're best in. I really want centre-backs on centre-backs on cover or centre-backs on stopper. But in this instance, Jake Hills, no nonsense centre-back. It's something we can look at. We have a look at monies. So this is his new contract and he's effectively on 162 quid a week, which is not bad really for best player in the club, 4-star best player. 6.8 average rating, so bang on the average. 6.83 for Jake Hills, 6.7 for Tom, which was a bit of a worry. That's why he didn't really play as much. 20 appearances, whereas Andrew played all but 3 games, and Jake Hills came in and played 28. Joshua and Terry were loaned, so they've played a few games, but they're only 1.5 current stars. So plenty of minutes for Andrew Byrne. Disciplinarily speaking, he's going to get a yellow every 9-10 games, which I'm perfectly fine with. Tom Bruce, 1 every 3, not so good. Passing though, Andrew's not brilliant, 68.8, 73.8 for Tom and 72.7 for Jake Hills. Just to me that Andrew Byrne should possibly be playing as a stopper, and we'll look at that in a little bit. And maybe Jake Hills as the cover because he's just that much better on the ball. Sweep up behind. So attempted passes per 90 versus, so they're all around the 40, so there's nothing major there. I don't know what Josh and Terry were doing in their teams. I think they were playing no nonsense because they tried nothing. 20 passes a game. Andrew Byrne, 17 key passes. Or 0.367 key passes per game. So much more than Tom Bruce, who can't pass by the looks of it. I said about Andrew Byrne being a stopper, but looking at that makes you think, well, he can pass, but then his pass percentage is a lot lower, so it's a little bit conflicting. Chances created, you wouldn't expect much from defenders, so I'm not really worried about that. Nor crosses, nor offsides, but headers. This is a biggie, 82.4% header completion. 6 completed headers per 90 minutes, 7.5 attempts. So 82, Jake doesn't know. That's why it might be better that, as I said, Andrew stops, is the stopper, he goes in with the aggression to get it done, and Jake covers behind. Same, Tom Bruce looks like a covering behind kind of guy, so I'm going to have to be looking for a stopper, I think. 49 key headers, but not that many per 90. Tom Bruce has that, which is quite interesting. Shots, not really that interesting or important for defenders. Mistakes, however. I said about Tom Bruce, I thought he was always making mistakes. Well, he's making 0.1 of a mistake less per game than Andrew Byrne is, and Jake Hills is about there. So I think average is about around the 8.8. And Tom Bruce actually doesn't make the mistake, so I might have been too hard on him. He might be getting a little bit more game time. But yeah, I think it's because I saw the one mistake that led to a goal, which was atrocious, and said, right, enough's enough. Interceptions, yeah, Andrew Byrne, interception king. That's why maybe he should be a stopper. 3.28 for Jake Hills a game is not bad. Down for Tommy. And if we look at the tackles, yeah, again, 58, 53, 91.38. So they're good, but that is mad. Jake Hills, 31 out of 31, which is, yeah, superb. Again, really only one per 90 minutes, which makes my loanees, they're trying to tackle so much. I think they were in poor teams, it must have been. And some key tackles there as well. 9 key tackles out of 31, 0.32 of them a game. Give up a few fouls, but Andrew Byrne less, Jake Hills more, interestingly. Even though he makes all the tackles, he's actually given up quite a few fouls that are not classed as tackles, obviously, because they would be incomplete tackles in my book. But had a decent amount of fouls against him as well, 27. Andrew Byrne, distance-wise, 418 versus 246. He does a lot of meterage. So, actually, that said, 300 metres more a game than Jake Hills, and about 200 more than Tom Bruce. So he does, yeah, outstrip them a little bit. So that's the centre-backs done. So we have a look at the full-backs. Now, I'm really interested in having full-backs play as wing-backs. So having Liam Triggs is a bit of a godsend because he wants to do that naturally. I've been playing Henri Smith as the other wing-back, a 2-star. So we've got 2 and a 2.5 star wing-back, which is, I think, troubling to me. We need to really strengthen. I mean, Liam Triggs, 2.5 star. We're paying out 223 quid a week for him. I'm definitely offering him a contract because I can't not. Same with Henri, I can't not have a right back and a left back that have been playing pretty much all the games we've had this year. But I'd want to get people in to try and strengthen, because that's not really good enough for our level. They're good enough for the level below, but not for this level. So yeah, if we just quickly go through, obviously cost per week. Henri Smith is going to cost a bit more because obviously new contract coming in, and I think Liam will cost a little bit more than that as well. And we've got the new contract, but yeah, 6.9 for Liam, so, and 6.84 for Henri, so not bad, but not amazing. So we also got 6.84. Ruben and Duncan. I mean, Duncan's young, and I want to keep him because I think he's got a lot of potential. Ruben has been around a while, been on loan a lot, and not done much from what I can tell. Disciplinary levels. Henri's a little bit dirtier, so 7 yellows as opposed to the 5 for Liam. And when you look at per 90 minutes, yeah, he's going to get 1 every 7 games pretty much. Yellow every 7 versus yellow every 10, which makes a big difference. Passing wise, that worries me for Liam. There's only 70% completion. He's obviously trying more. When we get to having a look at key passes and whatnot, it might balance out a bit. But yeah, Henri slightly better with a 77%, and Tamil 75%. Ruben not good. I don't know what Duncan was doing because he was loaning as well towards the end of the season, so that might have caused that. I don't even know if he was playing as a wing back. I can imagine him playing as a sort of a centre back. So yeah, attempted passes here. Actually, only 50 compared to 55 for Henri, and he's actually completing 7 passes less per game than Henri, which is not good. But he does have a lot more key passes. It's actually, Tamil's interesting. He's 1.1 key pass per game compared to Liam's 0.5, but then he's only played. I did cut out. He's played 615 minutes worth of, so eight appearances. Obviously, had quite. I don't think he even ever came on. No, 5 appearances, 3 as sub, so total 8, 615 minutes. But he was making a key pass per game. He is a is he a 1.5? He's a 1.5 current star. 25-year-old's not going to get any better. Yeah, hence I have him as a no contract. You can stay with no contract, but I'm not particularly interested in you staying. Definitely not under a part-time contract. I'm not wasting the money because you're not going to get the game time. So chances created 2.93 versus 1.48, 1.69. So Henry is actually more chances created per 90, which for wing-backs I think is quite important. Crossing, look at that, 507 attempted versus Henry's 178. So Liam really attempts the crosses. And in doing so, obviously, you will get a lower percentage, but he did complete 67 crosses. Henry only 19. So attackingly speaking, 10.73 attempts per game, cross attempts per game. And he was completing 1.5 of those. Now, it's not brilliant. I want like 3 or 4 completed per game, ideally, but that ain't going to happen at this level, I don't think. Dribbles, yeah, Tamil obviously only did 2 dribbles, but compared to anybody else per 90 minutes, that's a lot more. But Liam, 24 dribbles. Henry, 18. So twice as many dribbles per 90 minutes. Is that right? I don't think that's right. No, that's looking at the wrong. Let me change that, shall I? That's going to be important, so I'm going to just quickly get everybody there, and that should be looking at AS. I thought that didn't ring true. Oh, idiot! Not AS, AR. So let's look at AR for that. Drag it all down to the bottom, and then put fullbacks back on, because this is the first one where dribbles do actually make a difference. So yeah, Liam 0.5. So yeah, he dribbles more than Henry, but 0.07 per game-ish. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a vast amount. He's offside a bit more. To be that far up the pitch, actually, to be offside 4 times this season is pretty good. Headering, Henry's a little bit better. Duncan's far better, which makes me think that he would play at centre back. So yeah, 2.51, 2.6. So yeah, Henry's a little bit better at heading, but key headers, 27 made, 9 made. But per, is that right, AY? That's looking at the wrong place as well. I should have looked at this before I done the video. So key headers should be looking at BA. Again, didn't look like that rang true to me. So have a quick look at that. And let us go back and hide fullbacks. So key headers, Liam Triggs, yeah, 0.572 versus over twice as many key headers per 90 minutes than Henry does. A full wing back's not so important, but what I saw of the sort of the chances that came onto the screen were plenty with Liam nice and high up the pitch, which I really like. 48% shots on target from Liam. Henry, none. He only had 9, none of them were on target, which is awful. And yeah, twice as many shots per 90 minutes. Scored 3 times this season, so yeah, scored once every sort of 13 games or so. Obviously Henry none. 73 mistakes, so he makes slightly more mistakes than Henry does. You'd expect wing-backs to make more mistakes because they're out there and doing more. Them and the inside forwards in a gegenpress will make mistakes because they're creative and they're trying to do more. And when we look at interceptions, Henry is a better interceptor of a ball than Liam was. Yeah, Ruben and Tamil and Duncan are all pretty good in that respect, to be fair. I mean, Tamil has lots of really good points. It's hard for me with him being a 1.5 star, looking at his attributes, and he might be a player where the attributes don't matter so much, let's just say that. Tackles wise, So 80.53% tackles one for Ruben, 90 for Henri, 92.68 for Liam. So brilliant, really good tacklers, both of them, which is really good to see. So that's 1 3/4 per game for both of the guys. Key tackles almost identical per 90 minutes. Henri a little bit more because he played less. Fouls made, so Liam fouls quite a bit more, sort of almost half again on from Henri per game, 1.5 to 1 point, almost 1.2. So not half, another fifth basically. And gets fouled a lot more than Liam as well, which is interesting. And distance-wise, though, Liam does about 600 metres more per game than Henri. So Henri has this season played a lot wing-back. I think he might play full-back a bit more than Liam has. I think Liam's played wing-back pretty much all year, so that might be the reason for that. So that's your full-backs, and of the full-backs, I want to keep Henri, I want to keep Liam, I want to keep Duncan. Because I think he's 20-year-old, he's got a lot of potential. Lots of clubs always want to loan him, which is always a good sign. If we have a quick look at defensive mids, I've only got 2, so this is easy, Sean and Arthur. I don't count Arthur as a centre mid anymore, I think he's more of a defensive mid. We've had the defensive mid playing as a deep line playmaker on either defend or support, which might temper a lot of this. Sean Stewart is our club captain and he wants to be a centre mid support, but when he's playing defensive mid, he wants to be an anchor man, which would be good for a possible wing play tactic that I'm looking at as well, at least training them up to do it. But yeah, Arthur, 220 quid a week versus Sean 77 is a bit of a worry. I'm saying yes to extend for both of them at the moment, but I really don't know about Arthur. I'm torn because he's been with us since the first season, not since the start. I think actually by the end of this sort of summer break, I'm going to have no Guernsey players left from the start at all, not one. Oh no, actually I might have Tommy Dodds, but he'll be a non-contractee and that'll be it. But yeah, 2.5-star potential Arthur looked like he was going to be a 4-star player at one point, but yeah, 2-star ability for Sean, which is a worry, but 6.91, it's a good rating average on 20 appearances. Disciplinarily, Arthur's dirty. He'll get a booking every other game pretty much. Passing, one of the best at the club, almost 90% passing completion for Sean Stewart. Arthur not that far behind to be fair, and key passes similar. About 0.8 of a key pass per game for Sean Stewart. Assists, defensive midfielders you wouldn't expect too much, and chances created, again, too much because we don't do massive long balls all the time. Crosses exactly the same, none of them were completed either, so don't cross basically. Dribbles, almost exactly the same. See what I'm seeing here is they're almost the same in everything. Arthur is a better header of the ball. And he's might be down to where he was playing because he did do quite a bit of time in midfield, which is another reason for maybe me taking him because he's good that way. He will play well in midfield in a number of positions. One shot, one on target. So you can't really say much about that. Not enough shots to worry. Mistakes, seems Sean makes a few more mistakes than Arthur, so Arthur's a little bit more dependable. And Arthur makes more interceptions. 2.5 interceptions per game. 100% tackle rate for Sean, which is superb, which brings weight to him being an anchor man rather than a deep line playmaker. I think Arthur might be better as that deep line playmaker. Tackles, as I said, pretty good. Key tackles, not interesting really. Fouls, Arthur makes a few more fouls, so 2 fouls a game. But draws more fouls and runs a bit more. So I want to keep both of those guys. If we look at centre mid, this is where it's going to get a little bit controversial. Charlton has already signed a new contract. I'm cool with that. He's a good little player. None of these positions, the best role and best duty, are important to me. I want them retraining. But I'd only keep Charlton and Josh. Why, you say? Because James, Charlie and Hugo are on far too much money per week. Don't do enough. They really don't. So if we start going through the numbers, so average ratings, I mean, 6.81, yeah, barely average. For him coming in as a 5-star player, he now shows as a 3.5-star player. Says a lot to me. Josh shows a 2.5-star player, and I've said this before in the attributes video we did, that he is a lot better than his attributes say he is in certain positions. And 6.87. He's played as a box to box, and I think they'll do quite well for it. He's only 28 still. I think he's got a lot of time, even though he's only 2.5 ability and reached his potential already. I think he's still worth having. So him and Charlton, but the rest, not so much. 6.84, 6.67 for Charlie. Charlton 6.83. He doesn't seem to like playing as a Cavaliero in the Gegenpress, which worries me a little bit. I need to keep training them. Disciplinarily speaking, James White is dirty as. Josh is slightly less dirty, but still dirty as. So it's more positions that are playing in, I think. Hugo, not so much. Charlton, definitely not so much. And Charlton's just not played enough. Passing, that is another reason why I don't particularly want to keep Hugo. 78% pass rate, where 84 for Josh, 82 for Charlton. Yeah, it's not really good enough. Making attempts at passes, might have been trying to do more risky passing. Can't say, but yeah, not particularly good. Key passes though, he does make key passes, Hugo. So he's trying his killer balls, obviously getting a lesser pass percentage because of it. He's actually tried to make a lot more passes than Charlton or Josh. Assists, 5 assists, so that's not too bad. As a midfielder, yeah, I mean that one is a box to box, whereas that 5 is more of the Cavaliero, I think. So, which worries me that Charlton's made no assists at all, but 7 chances created, which suggests to me that they're not of the quality. 8 chances created, 5 assists is pretty good. Not good enough to pay 350 quid a week for though. So chances created 2.7 to 2.09 and 2.22. Not enough per 90 minutes more. Crosses, hit none of the crosses attempted. Hardly any of the crosses attempted worked here. Josh is a potential wide midfielder on the right hand side as well, so 1 cross connected. Dribbles, yeah, Charlton and Hugo with Josh slightly behind. Offsides, yeah, Charlton's usually quite high up the pitch, but that was only the 1 offside. So that's wrong, isn't it? Should be looking at AT, not AR. So that's the same as the dribbles. Let me do it again. That looks wrong. So offsides, these are important for these guys and higher up the pitch really. I'll try AT. Do that. And then put it back to the centre mids. So yeah, not really that interesting actually, because there's hardly any offsides really. The headers, that's interesting. Here goes a good header of the ball. Josh, yeah. Charlton, definitely not. So this is actually making me think whether, if I can get Hugo on less money, I might think about it, but I just still can't. I balk at 350 quid a week for what he's done, because he never seems to do anything. Really doesn't. 15 key headers, so half a key header a game. He's lots of shots, but only 18 on target. So only 30% shots on target. So he's trying 2 a game, but only hitting 0.6 a game. Hit 2 goals, but then Charlton hit 6. So yeah, there's quite a disparity there. That goals for 90 minutes looks, yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, 0.067. So 1 goal every 14 games or so. 1 goal every 8 games, 7 games even for Charlton. So Slightly more mistakes from Charlton, more from Josh, but that's more the position he's playing in than Hugo. But Hugo did make a mistake that led to a goal. So interceptions, yeah, Josh with Hugo 48 each. Tackles, good tackle percentage actually, 90.4 with Josh 83 and Charlton 83. Tackles attempted per game, yeah, Josh has to attempt more tackles in the positions he's been playing in. Somebody had only a small number of key tackles. 73 fouls, so 2.7 fouls per game for Josh, whereas only 1.2s for Charlton and Hugo. Charlton draws more fouls than anybody else, but Josh draws more fouls per game, per 90 minutes. And when you look at distance travelled, yeah, Charlton over almost 12.1 kilometres a game, which is 600 metres more than Hugo, which is another reason I don't think his work rate is particularly good, Hugo. So they're the reasons why I don't want to keep our highest paid player at the club, because he's just not doing it, not for the money anyway. Wingers, now we're going to see a name you've not seen before because he was on the youth intake, and his name is Nnamdi Usman, and he is Nigerian. He's obviously British, but was born in Nigeria. He was the only one in the youth intake that wasn't from Guernsey, and he is a natural inside forward on attack, which is perfect for what we need. So he's on obviously 16-year-old, so he's on a youth contract until 2024. He is 1.5 stars, but he is our best inside forward attack at the club, so he'll be getting plenty of game time. Nathan obviously is a left side as well. Nnamdi is a left-sided inside forward as well, so that might have a little bit of game time play there. I don't want to keep Adam Taylor because he's been a bit of a pain as well, and he's just not good enough. Not worth 64 quid a week anyway. Marcus is becoming a bit of a club legend because of his free kicks. Matthew Campbell has been useful, but he's another one where I'll keep him on a non-contract, but not interested particularly. So we've got Nathan, an 18-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 20-year-old. So this is another thing. Youth, we have to play the youth. Most of these want to be wingers, which is not really that helpful, but none of them are getting paid that much. 2.5s, about as good as you're going to get. Some decent potential there. 7.17, best in the club. This is mainly down to his free kick exploits. If we look at disciplinary, so 4 man a match, player a match, which was best in the club as well. Disciplinarily speaking, Adam Taylor is the worst by far, and then Marcus. He's getting booked every third game pretty much. 77% passing completion, so they're trying to make more killer passes. Nnamdi's 75, but he's only 16, so you've got to give him a little bit of slack. But Nathan 82 is really quite good. So he just seems to be a player that disappears though, which worries me a little bit, but that might just be because of his age. Matthew, they're all 1.2 key passes a game, which is pretty good. 10 assists from Marcus, so 0.4 assists per 90 minutes. But Nnamdi, 3 assists. He's almost an assist every other game, which is superb, has been superb. Nathan and Matthew are very good at the chance creation per 90 minutes, a bit more so than Marcus. And crosses, Nathan completes 15%. Nnamdi is highest of all of them at 1 cross every 8 or 1 cross every 7 pretty much. But if you look at the cross attempts, that's the 1 point. He's only trying to attempt 2 crosses per game for the time he's played, whereas Marcus is trying 10.8, so almost 11. Nathan's trying 8, so that's quite a disparity in the actual attempt at crossing. I don't think Nnamdi is, because he's a true inside forward attacker and he's cutting inside. He ain't crossing, he's coming inside and passing. He's not dribbling, which is interesting. 0.815 per game compared to the 1.4s of Matthew, 1.2 and 1.094 of Nathan. Matthew gets caught offside a lot, so 1 every other game. Nnamdi is a better header by far than any of the other wingers. He's winning 3.4 every 90 minutes compared to your 2.1 for Marcus and 1.2 for Nathan, which is quite interesting actually. I think it shows he plays a lot narrower and is therefore involved with headers a bit more. 4 of them were key, so 0.65, so twice as many key headers as anybody else. 7 shots, so 63%, almost 64% shot accuracy. Yeah, Nathan just lets go, and same with Matthew, and then Marcus even lower. So, but they're trying 3 shots a game pretty much and hitting 1 and a bit, whereas Namdi just under 2 and he's hitting 1 of them. So yeah, he's a lot more accurate. Didn't score anything. Marcus scored 9, but most of them were free kicks. Yeah, Adam was very mistake driven, not good. Nathan makes a fair amount of mistakes, so does Namdi. Less mistakes for Marcus and Matthew, which is interesting. Interceptions, 1.3 per game from Namdi as well. So he's a 4.5. He's a 5-star, 4-5-star potential kind of guy. I'm hoping that we can play him a lot and get him to that potential. Not so much that we like kill him early because he's only 16, but try and get the game time to really, and have him playing as an inside forward. Try and really get him there. Tackling, 100% of tackles, only 3. Tackles not so important for these guys, but yeah, make 30 out of 38 is not too bad. Yeah, makes a few fouls, Namdi, 2.5 a game. 2s and 1s. Nathan doesn't. Does draw fouls though, but then Namdi draws more fouls. Does a fair bit less kilometrage though, compared to Marcus on the other side. So yeah, I think he doesn't track back as much. Definitely doesn't track back as much, but that's really interesting. So I mean, I want to keep Nathan. I want to keep Marcus. Matthew would be nice to have, but when you look at their star ratings, 2.5s, 2, still not brilliant, is it? You want to at least one of your wingers to be like properly good. And then lastly, but no means least, the strikers. Now, Max, bless him, he wants to be an advanced playmaker and an attacking midfield, and we don't play that formation. He can play as a pressing forward, and I want all these guys to be pressing forwards if we're going to play gegenpress. They can be attacking forwards, advanced forwards even, if we want to play the wing play. Mark Watts does that really well. But if we have a look at the extensions, now I want to keep Max, and I want to keep Mark, and I want to keep Greg, because we'll have a look at see why. Daniel Gibbons is pretty good, and I'm happy to keep him on his non-contract. If somebody comes in for him, then we'll think about it. But he's only really costing about 15 quid a week, so I'm cool with that. Ruben, however, that 159, he wants 250 quid a week, just as a wage. He ain't going to get that, not a 3-star. He doesn't score enough goals, he's just not good enough. So let's go through. 6.87, yeah. Max, just over 7, good. Mark, 7.1. When he played, very good. 7 appearances. Yeah, I'll definitely have to play him more. The gegenpress, 1 up front. It most probably will be Greg, because Greg is the best pressing forward, but Mark, yeah, has potential, especially if we play like a 4-4-2 counter-attack. Disciplinarily, Greg, that's interesting. None of them are that bad, but yeah, I mean, I'm not even looking up at Blake, 24, but he's just not good enough. Unfortunately, Robbie, same. They're poachers, and I've just got no time for poachers anymore. They don't ever do anything. You might get 1 or 2 goals a season, ain't no good. So yeah, sorry, disciplinarily speaking, yeah, third per game. Max isn't that dirty at all. 80.5% passes. I mean, he played a decent part of the season as an advanced playmaker, so that might be why it's slightly less, because he's playing killer balls. But yeah, your 83s, 85s, 80. Yeah, it's all okay. See, the attempted passes per 90 is much higher for Max because of he was playing as that advanced playmaker. 20 of them are key, so that's good. Ruben's made 13 key passes, but when you look at the time spent, there's only half a key pass per game, which is not brilliant. He has played a lot of the season as a poacher, though, to be fair to him. Only made 1 assist all season. Max made 2. Chances created, Max created 2. It's not a lot of chances, really, is it, for your forward areas? That's why we finished where we finished. 18th. Crosses, yeah, enough said. Ruben attempted 43 crosses and made none of them. Yeah. That was me trying to play him as an inside forward, I think. Even though the stats say he could play as inside forward, it didn't really work. Yeah, dribbles 22, so sort of almost a dribble per game. He's attempted them. Was offside a fair amount. Blake Davis by far the most offside, almost 2 offsides per game. Greg not too bad, Max not too bad with regards to that. Headers, yeah, anyway, 37.5. Look at that though, for 3.2p, 3% header completion from Robbie Legg. Bless him, that's why he's off. But half header completion for the others, which is not too bad. Max not too bad at all with headers. 11 key headers, all 0.6 per game. Mark Watts actually 0.8 per game, so that's interesting. 55% shots on target, 67 for Ruben, which is not too bad. 55. We need somebody up near 70 really, who's getting 20 goals a season. 11 goals, 9 for Max. Yeah, 0.48 per game, 0.557 per game, 0.678 per game for Mark, so best per game. Yeah, a few penalties taken, lots of mistakes actually from both Max and Ruben, but none of them that led to goals. Yeah, Max made a lot more interceptions, almost won a game. Won 100% of his tackles, but then so did Ruben. One of them was actually a key tackle as well. 28 fouls, so 1.7, almost the same per game as Ruben. Ruben drew less fouls as well actually. Daniel Gibbons was the one who drew the most fouls. 3.4 fouls per game, and Max does a lot more, 11.68 kilometres compared to 10.2s. 10.2, 10.5 Greg Barnes. Greg Barnes is definitely an up and coming pressing forward in my eyes. If we play him enough, his 2 stars I think will go up towards 3.5 this season coming. It all depends if we don't get somebody else in the meantime though, that will take his place. And yeah, lastly, before ending the episode, we're just going to have a look at a few end of season bits and pieces. So this screen here is the Guernsey overall best 11, which the supporter spokesperson is called Chaz Barnes. There's apparently announced 4 players considered good enough to enter. Yeah, Liam Triggs is now in at the right back. Henry Smith is there on the left back. Tommy Scott. So these are all this season, apart from Steve Aldridge, who showed a lot in the first couple of seasons. I mean, he's still only 20, I believe. Yeah, he's 20, but he's only 1.5 star current, so he's sort of gone backwards. Ed Palmer still shows as the DM. So we look where he is now. He's actually at Buckland. I believe they'll be tier 9. Yeah, so he's playing in tier 9, which says a lot. Then Charlton Govain and Josh Wakefield, who we obviously know well. Yeah, Nathan Rose, Marcus Walden, and Ruben Wilson. Substitutes, Callum Stanton's actually sub now, so obviously Tommy Scott coming in for him. He's still at Torquay, I believe. Yeah, he's still at Torquay. Jake Hills has come in. Harry Tobin is still with the club on non-contract. Arthur Warren. Hugo, who hopefully might be leaving relatively soon. Frank Rosenwald, Tom Delamena. Where's Tom? Tom's with Brockenhurst. Let's go back. Tom is with Brockenhurst, who are in tier 10. Okay, so yeah, he's only 28 and he's playing tier 10. I think this is saying a lot about the quality of the players I've actually had to deal with. And Frank Rosenwald is with Falmouth, and they are in tier 9, so we are in tier 7. I think we've done quite well to stay up because these were good players for us. Yeah, if we look at the end of season awards, Marcus Walden, player of the season. Yeah, 65% of the vote, he actually stormed it. Liam Triggs got goal of the season, we'll have a look at that in a second. Max Talboys, signing of the season on a free from Eastleigh, which was mostly the best signing we've ever done actually, from a team higher up actually in Vanarama South, I believe. And young player of the season also, Marcus Walden. Team of the season, Scott, Smith, Ills, Burnt and Triggs, Sean Stewart, Wakefield and Govain, Rose, Walden and Wilson, which are pretty much starting 11. a lot of the time. If we have a look at the goal of the season, so this was against Dorchester. I think we've seen this one before. It was absolutely amazing. So Stuart over to Triggs, cuts, just bangs it with his right, and it sort of looped over the goalkeeper. It was an amazing goal. Yeah, a good goal in goal for the season. Very nice. Season review. It was a hard season, but thanks to some performances, surprised many people, at least able to avoid automatic relegation. Yes, it was that good. Average attendance down slightly, obviously 591. You're up near the 700s last year. See the league progression down the bottom. We were as low as 21st at one point, and actually got up to 17th, and then sort of hung around 17th and 18th. Relatively safe though. We used 38 players, the highest in the league, which I think says a lot. Lost in the second quali in the Emirates against FC United, who are now up in the National League. We lost in the first quali round of the FA Trophy, and lost in the second round of the Challenge Cup. So yeah, brilliant season. Squad dynamics here. Dressing room obviously poor because they've been playing crap. I think one of our main issues is we have no team leaders. We've never had a team leader, which is a real issue. But they have excellent support for me. So obviously I've signed another contract. That's fine and all done. End of season team meeting. God, what do you say? What do you say? Hard battle against relegation. See, this is my issue. The chances of us getting out with even a fraction of these people is going to be really, really difficult. Really difficult. Confidence review, secure 55%. That's, says a lot as well, and that's sort of relatively happy. Injuries, we had Robbie Legg, who's going. He was out for 2 months. We've not had masses of bad injuries really. Charlie Higgins with a 3-week twisted knee ligaments, but I think we're going to have to start early. On the 2nd of July, I need to get, if we're going to have a tactic that works, I need plenty of friendlies. Let's just skip forward a tiny little bit to see if anything else comes up. I tried to set release for these guys, but they won't, and it seems like it's done it as a free transfer, so that's fine, that's cool. I'm gonna just let them run out. Now this guy has come to my attention. This is what I mean, £275 an appearance. Now he would be good pressing forward, and I looked at his profile, and it's a pressing forward on attack. This is what we want, and it's relatively good. 7 finishing, 6 first touch. Concentration's a bit low. He's not worth £275 a game. Look at him, he's really not. So I'm just going to walk away from that. So that was the highest ranked of any of the scouted people that I had. Yeah, there you go. I think this is where we're going to call it though. So we've basically got people under contract now until the end of June. I have no interest in having in the team at all. Let's just have a look at these. Jake Garner, 52. He would be 13th best striker. Not interested. Daniel Webster, he would be 11th best winger. No, see, rubbish. Initial budgets, so they want 4.3k, same as this year. I'm going to try and come in a lot lower than that. I think that is that. So what I'll do is I'll do an episode for the first game of the season, just to go through what basically happens between now and then, and hopefully see you soon. Bye.